Hi, I'm Claude, and tune into Rational Power as I interview two talented guests. One, they're both black women. Two, they're both lawyers. And three, they're intelligent. Please tune in. Welcome back to another episode of Rational Power. Unfortunately, my co-host is not here, so it's just me today. But I have a special guest, and we are out here in DC. One of the things that I realized that DC has to offer is a lot of politics, a lot of lawyers, and so much more. So, the person who's going to bless us today is a lawyer, and she goes by Paige White. Paige White, how you doing today?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
Good, 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 man. So I've been noticing on your stories you are very vocal about criminal justice. So with
That's
that
right.
being said, what do you believe or what do you think is your rational power?
Servant, being a public servant.
Okay. Ooh.
That's where I get my power. That's what I think I carry through my life. And what I want to carry through my life is being a servant of the people, um, particularly Black and Brown communities. Um, or it's really servant leadership.
Okay.
Um, being a servant of Black and Brown communities and being a leader in those spaces and galvanizing our communities against oppression.
Okay. And one thing I noticed when I was doing my research, you grew up in Hampton, Virginia, and you kind of mentioned about your parents where you first was inspired of their power and how it helped shape you. Can you tell us how they help you understand that power?
So I actually got that phrase servant leadership from my mom,
Ooh.
who was the chancellor at North Carolina Central University
Mm-hmm.
before she passed, and her entire life, she impressed upon me the importance of helping others, of serving others, of my life being in service to others. And so I watched her do that in the education realm, working at an
Mm.
HBCU,
Okay.
giving leading an HBCU and creating programs and different avenues for Black and Brown students, first generation students, to come and get a college education. um, on the other side, I have my dad, who was in the Navy for close to 28 years, a captain in the Navy, which he's a fraction of Black captains that serve in the United States Navy. And whether it was over the weekend taking us to the Red Cross and watching
Mm.
him perform dental surgeries on people for free at
Okay.
the Red Cross, and
Oh
having us
wow.
help him and working the front desk, or taking us, the church would go and bring communion to people who were sick and shut in, and we would be there as well. And so I think both of my parents just impressed that upon us.
Okay. And then what kind of like led you to become a lawyer as well? Because I know like for most, black and brown, that is something that we do not try to like get a job in because everyone wants to like get fast money.
Mhm.
And the one thing I kind of realized, like being a lawyer, like you really gotta make sacrifices. So like, how did you even, especially because your mom was an educator and your dad was a dental surgeon,
Mhm.
how did you became or how did you choose that path to be a lawyer?
So, there was an argument that me and my mom had where where she was, I'm not gonna say the explicative, but she was like, "Dang it, Paige, like you just need to become a lawyer." So that's when it first came into my mind. No
Mhm.
joke. That was literally the first time that came into my mind. I wanted to be a prosecutor though, so I would watch Law and Order,
Mhm.
and I wanted to put the bad guys in jail. I then went to law school and took my first criminal law class, and realized that there was so much that I didn't know about the criminal justice system. Growing up in Hampton, we're all lower middle class. My uncle was a part of the police force. And so I didn't have a lot of interactions with police or really
Mhm.
know anybody else that did.
Yeah.
Um, and so after I took that class, I realized that I was much better served on the public defense side, and working against the criminal justice system.
Okay. I like the fact that you say your power is being a server. I mean, what you said again?
Servant leader.
A servant leader, because I feel like a lot of leaders don't know that in order to be a leader, you have to serve other people.
100%.
So like when I heard you said that, it kind of like touched me because I travel a lot and I listen to people tell their testimonies, and one of the things that I realize they always say is like, in order for them to be who they are, they have to help others
That's right.
by leading. I mean, not by leading, but by serving, giving them what they need, knowing what they need at the moments that they don't even know.
That's right.
So that being said, this question I'm about to ask you is kind of a little touchy because
Okay.
I noticed when I read your bio, you consider yourself as a queer, right?
I do.
So, as a black queer woman in law, how has navigating multiple identities become a source of power rather than an obstacle?
Oh my gosh, there's so much intersectionality. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that when I was mulling about like what my superpower was, I think my what I was going to say was that my life experience
Mm-hmm.
also just really underscores and allows me to see and empathize and connect with so many different people.
Yeah.
And so that life experience involves being a black queer woman. And
Mm-hmm.
so I see the struggles. I've lived this and I'm living the struggle of being in a gender or a sexual identity minority, being queer. Realizing that right now we're in a time where the administration is coming after people who identify as gay, lesbian, queer, transgender, what have you, and also being a black woman,
Mm-hmm.
um, I think has is also just in itself a very unique experience because I think that we as women are always we're taught a number of things due to white supremacy. And toxic masculinity, and black women specifically have to wear multiple different hats, and we're always
Yeah.
being put on
Agree.
as the nurturers,
Yeah.
the
I agree.
and so I think that being a part and sharing these different identities has given me just a breadth of experience of
Mm.
understanding what struggles look like for different types of people.
Okay. Okay. So now you worked in some of the most challenging legal environments, public defense in Harlem and DC. What did those experiences teach you about tapping into your strengths, and how did you knew like you were able to do these things?
Okay. I mean, that's a great, you have really
Yeah.
good questions.
Yeah.
Um, so the lived experience
Mm-hmm.
um, is just so powerful in that because I have the experiences that I do, I lead with compassion. That's how I lead with lawyering. And people who need a public defender or who are getting arrested for these crimes are typically people that society has completely discounted and decided that they're criminals. They don't
Mm.
deserve even the basic humaneness of a sanitary living condition. I mean, we walk around these jails and they're literal um, infestations. And so I think that I'm able to connect with my clients in
Mm-hmm.
a way that I think that a lot of them have not experienced from a lawyer. That allows me to see them see me. We have a trusting relationship. We're able to work their case. They also trust me. So I'm able to actually get a lot of information about them, about what happened, about what their lived experience is, because that's what I bring to the government. That's the stories that I tell in trial. Um, and I think just being a fighter, I typically, if I see a good fight, I want to get in it. And the public defense world, especially in New York and in DC, is it's the biggest arenas in the world.
I believe it because based on your stories, I see you fighting for a lot of people. That story when the cops were out in front of your house, I know most. Let me not say I know most people. I would say most people wouldn't do anything, or they would have probably stayed silent and probably called the cops. But when you can't even call the cops because you've seen
That's
them
right.
doing
That's right.
the harm out there. So when I saw that post you posted, I was like, yeah, I'm not even gonna lie. If I was a lawyer, I would want to say I want to be like you, because I know it takes a lot of courage just to even step up to these,
Hmm.
law enforcement. Because they look like they was all masked up when based on your story.
They are all masked up, and it's just, um, I think that we're all here for different reasons.
Hmm.
And so to me, I think it's my duty to speak up. It's my duty to fight.
I like that.
And we have this chant that it's our duty to fight. It's our duty to win. We have nothing to lose but our chains.
Hmm.
And I've truly believed that. And so um I it's funny when you call it brave or courageous because I just see it as something I see it as my duty and something that I have to do because who am I? I mean, if I see police anywhere, I'm going to pull over. I'm going to go see what's going on because I want to make sure that that person
Yeah,
is okay and that they know their rights and that I can yell out a number or something for them
man.
or an agency for them to remember to call or coordinate with. And
Mhm.
so, yeah,
I like that about you because like I know like if I knew the law and if I was driving by and I see that, I'm gonna be like, hey, what you doing?
that's right.
You asking them the wrong questions. Hey,
That's
don't
right.
answer that. So the fact that you are doing that, that speaks a lot of volumes because there's not a lot of people doing that.
Mm,
And I like that about you.
mm.
So keep doing your thing. And with that being said, I have a segment since my co-host couldn't be here.
Okay.
I'm gonna call this segment Coke 45.
Okay.
His name is Copeland, and I like to call him Coke 45. So a question that he has for you is, how big of an impact were your well no, we're not gonna answer that one.
Okay.
I already asked that. I don't know why you. What's your most rewarding accomplishment as a lawyer?
Mm.
Oh, that was a good one, Cope.
That was a really good one. My most rewarding accomplishment. Oh, that's difficult because I think it would be kind of what happened recently. We filed a case against the District of Columbia for
Mm,
a young girl that was
mm,
sexually assaulted repeatedly in
wow.
a juvenile detention facility here in the district by a guard that worked in the district.
Okay.
And we just recently had a press conference about that. Um, and it was the
That's
first
big.
press conference I've ever organized by myself or put on by myself. By myself, I'm not. Um, most of my press conferences have been with Ben Crump or with the other firm
Mm,
that I was with that are much larger than me. And so I think that just telling her story just felt like a huge achievement. And of course, we're fighting in court and we're going to do what we need to do there. But it was just so rewarding to be able to tell this story that I've been holding on to
yeah.
for 4 years.
Mm,
And I watched her, as she went through the criminal trial and was on cross examination for 3 days and was just broken down to
mm.
nothing. And so to be able to tell her story now has just been a joy.
Okay. And then another question he has, which you kind of brought it up. How is it working with Ben Crump? Shout out to the Qs, Rue. Anyways, yeah, go ahead.
Ben Crump is a proud Q. Um, it's wonderful. So when I first met Ben, I was still working as a public defender. And
Mm-hmm.
as a public defender, I was very, very skeptical of attorneys that make money from people or from cases.
Mm,
And I was honest with him about that whenever we first talked. And he was like, okay, well, maybe you should get to know me. And I did. And I
yeah.
truly feel like he is just salt of the earth type of person. I have personally seen cases that because his name is on it,
Mm,
companies that would drag out litigation for years,
mm,
cases that would be dismissed, these people are coming to the table and saying, "Oh no, 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 we will,
yes.
we'll pay. We
Okay.
don't want you to talk trash about us on national television. We don't want you to
Good.
investigate what's really going
That's
on here."
good.
So
I
he's
never knew that. That's
Yes,
good. I'm glad I'm hearing that.
nobody knows that. So
Yeah.
he's getting recovery for people that would not have gotten recovery in the legal system,
Mm-hmm.
in the court system, just by being who he is and speaking out about these issues. So it's powerful.
Man, that's crazy. All right, another one had a question that Cope has is, what's the pay structure for a lawyer?
The paid structure.
What's the pay structure for a lawyer?
Okay, well, so there's different ones. That's a great question. There's
Mm-hmm.
different ones. There's contingency fee representation, which
Okay.
is typically like civil cases, where you won't pay anything for representation, but the
Okay.
attorney at the end of the day will take 33% is standard. It's now moving to 40%, but the attorney will take a percentage of the gross if you get paid. If
Okay.
and so there's contingency fee. There's hourly, where you're just paying the attorney based on the hour. And then there's flat rate representation, which is in a lot of criminal cases where you'll just pay a flat rate for all your entire case.
Okay. All right. That's what's up. I like that. Let's see. He has, what was the turning point in your career, and did you ever doubt yourself during a case?
Turning point. Definitely think that, I mean, I'm breaking the rules. I think there's two. I think that the first was leaving the public defender's office and going to work for Ben Crump,
Okay.
because that was something that I never imagined myself doing.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that I would be a public defender forever, and I was very happy with that.
Okay.
I gotten my dream job and thought that that was it. So that was a huge turning point. I've now discovered a whole other avenues of holding cities and these oppressors accountable. So that was great. And then I also think that starting my own firm about a year ago, I stepped out on my own, and
Mm-hmm.
that's obviously a huge turning point. I'm doing things myself. I'm making the decisions and calling the shots, and
Yeah.
it is terrifying and exciting all at the same time. I
Mm-hmm.
think the other question was, have I ever doubted myself? Absolutely, especially in this past year and a half of having my own practice. But I think what I'm learning is that nobody knows it all. We're all
Mm-hmm.
trying our best. And
Mm-hmm.
at least I know that I have the passion
Yeah.
and grit to do this work, and that I will learn what I need to learn as I keep going.
Okay. So, have you ever felt like you, when you took a case, like, were you gonna not like, have you ever, like, I don't want to put the word doubt in your head, like, but like, did you ever feel like, oh man, I don't think I'm gonna like get this person the case that they want, or the outcome that they feel like they deserve?
Oh yeah, all this, yeah. Especially if we go to trial. So I just had a double, not double homicide. I just had a homicide trial,
Mm-hmm.
where our client was looking at 70 years or so, and that's terrifying. You know, anytime you're putting right, let's take a second for 70 years.
Yeah.
Like anytime you're putting that type of decision in 12 strangers' hands, it is
Right.
terrifying.
Right.
And it has to be terrifying for my client, and I'm sitting next to them, and anything that this jury does or any decision that they come to, I'm going to think it is because of me and my work and my advocacy. So, yes.
Okay. So, being named Young Lawyer of the Year suggests people see tremendous potential in you. How do you want to use your growing platform and influence others?
I want to first show that you can be a lawyer and also have a heart and
Mm-hmm.
have compassion and do really good work and also make some money from it.
Mm-hmm.
But that, I think that so often lawyers are painted in this one monolithic picture.
Yeah.
And I mean, I felt that when I went to law school, everyone wanted to be a corporate lawyer, and we weren't actually talking about like the power that we have as
Yeah.
attorneys to make a difference. Even if you do go into corporate law, you have such tremendous power as an attorney to do things. So that's number one, reminding people of that. Two, showing people that there are complexities beyond just being a lawyer. I love to dance. I love to get in the streets and protest. I really like to do yoga. I have two dogs, showing that you can have complexity to yourself. And third, just letting people know what's going on. So
Mm-hmm.
many people do not know what is happening at a very city wide level, like molecular level. Right, right. And it's like we get our news from social media now. And so I'm committed to using my platform to talk about what I'm seeing happening here with my cases that I take with my clients and what these oppressors are doing.
Okay. All right. So as we come to an end, the last segment, I always like to ask like fun questions.
Okay.
All right. So my first question is gonna be, what is your favorite TV show that represents a lawyer,
Oh,
or
okay.
being a lawyer?
Okay.
Because I got two. I got two.
I want to hear your two first.
All right, so my first one's gonna be Suits. Have you
Okay.
watched that?
Yes. No. Ish.
Because it goes into corporate law, and when I first watched that, I was like, man, like, is this what it means to be a lawyer? Like, you have to be on point because these guys are going against Fortune 500 companies, and to me, it gives me like, oh man, they don't tell you that what lawyers really do, like, because I feel like they have to go out and beyond and investigate like what these companies are doing. I mean, let me know if I'm wrong or
No. You're right. You're definitely
yeah,
right.
but I like Suits because what's the dude name? Mike Ross. He didn't go to law school, but he was getting paid to take everybody's LSAT. So he was helping a lot of people get into law school. But
That's wild.
He runs no, not runs, but he met a lawyer from Harvard who was doing interviews while he was trying to sell weed, but he realized that the cops was at the hotel room that he was about to drop off. So he runs into this interview and just says like, "Hey, pull out the LSAT book and I can say whatever. Pick a page and I can rephrase it." So to me, that gave me like, "Yo, anybody can be a lawyer."
That's right.
He's just showing people that like I took in the LSAT for others and I still can be a lawyer for myself.
That's
He
right.
impressed the lawyer. His name was like Harvey on the show, but I love that show. I'm still watching it right now. I'm like on season 7. Man. So, yeah. What's your show?
Was it called Your Honor? I think that Your Honor was a really gripping show that showed, this judge and then the different lawyers in the background and what was going on in this kid fighting his case. So I typically don't like shows with lawyers.
Okay.
But I think if I had to go one, it would be that. It was really good.
Okay. All right, and then second, if you can go back into, I'm going to say, your college days, what is something that you would tell yourself right now that would help you advance in your career?
In my career?
So to me, I feel like if I could go back in time and see myself in college, I would tell them, hey, look, it doesn't matter how much experience you have, because that was like the number one thing for me that I struggled with graduating. I was like, yo, I only have one internship. I don't have experience. I need to go to grad school.
Right.
I wouldn't have to grad school for film either, because once I started working in the field, it was like, oh man, I'm doing the things that I were doing at home, but on a different level.
Right.
So that's it. So what would you say to yourself?
I think that I would have gotten plugged in with more community organizations in Philadelphia. Yeah. I did some mentorship for a high school in Philly, but I wish I would have plugged in more with organizers there. I think that would have helped as I continued in that trajectory of just building my network of organizers.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I like that. And then the last question is going to be, all right, if, besides criminal justice law, if you can choose another practice of law, what would it be?
Oh, that's a good one. I thought that you were going to say another career. Okay, another area of law. Maritime law.
Why is that?
I don't know. It's super niche and nobody knows anything about it. So if I could just pick it or choose anything, I would want to know about what's happening in the seas.
Okay. Yeah,
right, like nobody knows that.
I was expecting maybe entertainment law.
I was thinking that, but it's a lot of contract review, and I don't like that.
Okay. All right. So everyone, that is a wrap for the show. We want to thank Paige for being here. And as we could keep continuing to do this show, we want you guys to like, subscribe, leave some comments. Shoot, if you want Paige to come back, ask me to bring her back, and we can do this at her house.
Exactly.
But yeah, thank you for being on the podcast. And before we go, do you have anything you want to say to your audience, fans, family members?
All power to the people. We're always more powerful than our oppressors. And get out and get in this fight.
Alrighty.
Cool.
Hey, you about to give me 1 million views.
Yeah, right. This is so cool.
Yeah, all right, so